There we go. Welcome. So thanks everyone for tuning in with TAM Integration today. We have Borja, so hopefully I'm saying his name correctly. My name is Gina, and this is super exciting. Daniel had asked me to interview, and he said La Sagrada Familia. So the first thing I thought of was that big old church in Barcelona. And then I did my little bit of research. So I guess first I want to give you an opportunity to just introduce yourself. You are the director and the producer of the movie, and yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you came from to get to where we are now.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much, Gina. Pleasure to be here. Yeah, I'll tell you a bit of myself and how we go into talking about La Sagrada Familia. Not about the one in Barcelona, but our own Sagrada Familia. So my name is Borja Alcalde Rubio. I'm from the Basque country, but I've been living in Scotland for the past 20 years. I'm a director and producer, and La Sagrada Familia is my first feature documentary. It's about a family of modern shamans in Peru who are struggling to find balance between their ancestral beliefs and the kind of life, family life in a digital age. They've got 3 kids, they're teenagers, and they're all hooked to Fortnite and smartphones and Netflix, as any other family anywhere else. Basically, they decide to take a long journey, a road trip, 1,000 miles road trip deep into the Amazon where they used to live, hoping to find balance in as a family in the digital age. I've been basically running my production company for the last 10 years in Scotland, and I always had in mind directing more than producing, actually, directing a long feature documentary. I've been doing short content for many years. And I wanted to dive, into the unknown of a long, feature, and telling a story for 90 minutes, as a kind of a challenge, And I first went to Peru. I would say I'm a soul searcher, and I kind of went to Peru looking for answers, my own answers, my own work. One of my best friends was in the Amazon at the time, and we spent some time together in a community. We are both been kind of into the psychedelics and for a long time, in the Basque country, in Scotland, in Spain, and we wanted to experience, or learn more about other plants in other places of the world. And it's through this kind of journey, our journey into Peru and looking for our own self-development and our own work that we met this family. So I still remember, knocking on Sergio's door at 7 a.m., in this house, in the Secret Valley of Peru in Urubamba. And we basically connected really well, with each other, and I was very attracted, not just how much they welcome and they teach us and show us, their own world, I love how this family have been creating their own reality, how they've been believing, that they can do things in a different way. This is a family that, they wouldn't give paracetamol to their kids, but they would give magic mushrooms. So it's a different understanding of the world, and I was quite aligned with them, and we thought, I felt there was something to be done together. I didn't know what at the time, because I didn't go to Peru looking for this documentary idea. I just went to experience myself, and I came back, with feeling that there was something else to be done with this family, and I proposed this to them, and that's how we started, our journey.
Wow. So the journey itself, or the road trip part, was your idea?
No, no at all. So from that first interaction, that was 4 years ago, I left Peru. You know, before leaving Peru, I asked Sergio, like, if I was feeling about doing some collaboration together. My background before filming, before directing and producing, was sound engineering and sound designer. So he plays different instruments. So I always thought it was kind of something to be done around sound and music. But the more I thought about it, we went for a a 3-day trek. So his kids took me for a long 3-day trek, you know, really in the Sacred Valley. And I came back from that something bigger inside that was not just sound or music, that was much more. And then is when my long-term, you know, kind of seed of the documentary is like, oh, maybe this is the story that you were perhaps looking for, that is calling you more. And so it was. So I proposed that to Sergio. I said, okay, let's talk. Let's talk. So I came back 6 months after that. And then I met Carmen, because Carmen at the time was in the Amazon doing some diets, you know, and retreats in a community. And so we went to do a trip together. So we would do some traveling. We went together and see if this idea, you know, was really, there was much more than just let's collaborate together, and it was something deeper and bigger that we wanted to share. So in order to find that, we went into our own kind of rituals and ceremonies for 10 days. We went to Puno, and then we went to Isla del Sol, and we came back, you know, quite sure about that we wanted to share something about, originally was more about the misuse and abuse of plants, you know, in Peru particularly. You know, as you know, it's a big problem, you know, with how they are treating, you know, with this shamanic tourism, and these two, Carmen and Sergio, are very much against, obviously, and how this is evolving, you know, and how it's doing so the damage, you know, for every single part, you know, of that equation. You know, it's just horrendous, you know, especially for women. Carmen had so many experiences, you know, in, you know, trying to kind of help, you know, people that have been left, you know, out there, you know. And the documentary was going along those lines, you know, and I kept traveling and filming and living with them every so often and learning from them. And it was only when I could experience how much technology was influencing this family, with very secure ideas about, you know, their ancestral beliefs and the natural world and so on. And I was like, God, you know, technology just overcomes everything. You know, it just gets in every single bed. You know, and this family is the same as any other family of my friends in Scotland or in the Basque country. And I was like, right, this is a bigger thing here. You know, just we can talk about plants and the misuse of plants and abuse in a different layer. And so you can learn from inside how it's affecting them and how important it is. But the whole technology versus nature, it was getting bigger. And it goes so bad, you know, like it was affecting their relationship and the relationship with their kids. So then is when the documentary turned and made a turn about more of a family. Yeah, so a family of shamans, and we're going to learn a lot about from inside how they think, what they value, their beliefs. But it was around the family unity. You know, can we redefine family? How is technology affecting families these days? And then Carmen and Sergio, that then is when they decided to take a road trip where they used to live, to give their kids an experience to connect themselves with each other as a partner, as a partner, as a couple, and with their kids, you know, and hopefully find answers as they get closer to nature. And they did find answers, and some of them quite shocking. But you know, I think I need to leave that for the audience to experience the documentary and find them when they watch it, because it's shocking. It's funny. The documentary is funny. There's of humor, but it gets dark too. Yeah. So there's a bit of everything there.
everything there just makes me want. I have so many questions for you now.
Good.
It's so yeah. I'm familiar with the Urubamba and Ollantaytambo and the
Yeah,
shamanic tourism, and
yeah.
it's very sad, and it's hard to find the authenticity in it. And it's I mean, I'm thinking about like that, and then we're saying technology brings a lot into it, and then yet they've got like a camera kind of following them around, so that's like an interesting part of it. And yeah, I guess I'm curious, how did things turn out? What did you guys learn in the process about
Hmm.
kind of removing the technology from all of that while still being immersed in it? Because that's at the core of it, that is the world we live in, right?
You are totally right, and that's a key part of perhaps this documentary being or turning the ways is turning because it's been filmed in such an intimate way. And you're right, it's very difficult to find that balance because, yeah, we're as you just said, we're talking about this technology taking over and being so present, and then there I am with a camera when they're having the trip of the adult trip of their lifetime, these kids, and so that was something that I had to consider, and very carefully. And it was only because it was 3 years since we met until this road trip, kind of for 3.5 years it happened. And that allowed us to become family. Yeah. That allowed us to trust each other, to love each other, to respect each other. And it's only because of that respect, love, and trust that what you see is like you are part of that road trip. And I try to minimize as much as possible my interaction, so they feel comfortable with my presence. They always meet me, and I'm with a camera anyway, so they're like, right, this is Borja again here playing with his toy. So I was also making sure that the kids, especially because I was trying to put myself into their shoes, right? And I was thinking, God, like they're going to this incredible road trip with their parents. They're not the best time, and got this guy, with a very small crew. I had only another two assistants because I was aware that I had to be super small to minimize the interaction. I was thinking, like, would I like to have someone, like, around me when I'm having this experience of a one in a lifetime? And how can I minimize that and make sure like they understand, the role I'm taking, and I can be also the friend, I am for them, or the uncle I am for them. So I always told them, you at any point can stop this. This is your trip. This is not my documentary. So if at any point you feel like you don't want me or the camera, you just say it. Like, because I would hate, to think like, like things are not flowing and it's not natural, and that's why, because we're so close with the kids and with the parents, is like we just be part of a. And it was a big journey for everyone, like one of the reasons I took into or this developed into this documentary is because my self experimentation, and I met a family that experiment with themselves, and then we got a project into that was pretty much experimenting as we were going through, because all the planning I had done before, it went through the window the first day, because it's a road trip. It's adapting, it's moving, it's flowing. So it's the whole trust and belief, that right, we're making something good, we're having fun, and that's half of it. And let's see where it's taking us. And it's been taking us, this project has been becoming bigger and bigger because it came from an idea of one night of developing and experimenting, and we ended up with one of the best editors in UK, like Oscar nominated, with 35 films under his belt, like with Juana Molina, like incredible experimental artist that she's doing a soundtrack for us. And now we're hopefully getting a world premiere in Sundance or Berlin, or, so it's like, wow, like this, it came from just nothing really, like just being, and believing and keep working. So we've been learning loads, and a big part of it is just being family and respecting each other, and that's how we've been doing things and getting to this stage. So yeah, if that was the only win, I'm happy, you know. That's it.
Yeah, well, it's beautiful that that you could be part of the family for the whole experience, and that definitely allows everyone can be more relaxed and more intimate with it all. So I know the kind of tag was on this one, finding that balance between life and what was it? It said life and relationships, right? I'm really, here's my cat, sorry. I'm really curious about what the kids learned, or what you perceived that they learned from this, because it's a huge, I mean, a road trip is a big process, living the life they live, being pulled out of their modern technology to go back to those roots again. So what would you say is, I'm curious about the lesson everyone learned, but in particular, what do you think the kids learned about the life that their
Yeah,
parents want for them, and then their life they're having?
I think so. There are two. Well, there are many kind of probably many learnings. You know, I'm talking from what I think, you know, what I experience and what I saw, you know, or how I interpret, you know, that time for them, what I experienced being next to them, as difficult things were happening around them. You know, beautiful things, you know, some other boring things, and some other difficult, but that's life, you know. So it's not gonna be. It's a bit of everything all the time. So they obviously had the experience of the road trip of a lifetime, right? Of traveling, meeting people on the road. Went to do. They learn about their own culture in Peru, about places they've never been, and their own culture and identity, I guess. So that's one, by just obviously the physical, you know, journey through a country and places they never um, went before. But I think there is a much bigger learning, which is their parents showing them like, they are in charge, or they will be in charge of their own life. They're giving an example on how they can stop everything. Things are not well, and how then you need to make changes. How then you need to take the reins and be in control. And how then you stop a school, and we take you from a school, yeah, for a month or 2 months, because it's important, you know. And we all can do that, and there's these things, and we go into all these structures, you know, which is all the time, everywhere, you know, and it seems like, you know, that's the only way to do things. And it's not, you know, we can decide every single time. And the more you break those things, you know, the more comfortable you are to just break the next one. And it's okay, it's not that bad, and I'll try. And if I fail, I'll try again. So giving those like, right, I want to stop school, you want to come together as a family. We're going to go into a small camper van. It was falling apart. I never thought we would make it. Honestly, like, I never thought we would make it. And I was like, okay, let's see. We make it whatever we have to make it. You know, the destination is the journey, really. You know, it's not arriving here or there. You know, it's like, you know, it's all that is in between. And then basically for them to go through all that time in a small space where, you know, you are not used to. You have all this escape with technology, and all of a sudden there is no technology, and then you have to, as I said, you know, get bored, yeah, and just suck it up, and then fight with your dad, you know, in front of everyone. So it's put yourself in a situation that they're not in control, they're not comfortable sometimes, and again they have to adapt and go through. And their parents are giving an example of like, we created this, and we need to be open to what's gonna be coming out from this. And because what it came out, it was, you know, something that was affecting everyone. That also gave them like a huge learning of acceptance. And I think those things, you know, you can't pay for these things, you can't plan them, you know. And to go through that in such a different stages, you know, was you know, like a key learning, you know, for the three kids in their own time and age, so yeah, I think that they're lucky that they have, parents that they put themselves into these situations to explore and to just to live, really, and not have just the structure all the time and just remove for a bit, which is what I was attracted to. They create their own reality and they show their kids that they can create their own when they can later on. So that's my interpretation of from outside, so yeah.
Yeah, of course, right? We can only imagine. I mean, the stuff that kids are going through at those ages to begin with is one thing, and then this experience on top of that, and yeah. So this, and you've kind of led to this a little bit, but I guess what was the outcome, especially, and I'm super interested about the way that technology, the shamanic tourism, that reconnection to nature in a world where just, it's everywhere. Technology is everywhere. The almost over connection to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what you saw. I mean, your experience too, because you were just as much part of this as the
Mm-hmm.
family themselves. But in this experience, what did you learn, or what piece of information would you gift to the
Mm-hmm.
world through the film and through your experience about that that relationship between staying connected while you're connected?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I think it's a great question, because I think there's something that I felt, not just I felt, but obviously captured in many ways, and I want to. I think I'm expressing well through this film with the photography, with the music, and with developing of the narrative arc, and where we get at the end, which is that it's so important to have, we keep saying, to have those times where there is no technology around, there is no, to really truly found yourself, or the answers basically that they were looking for. Yeah, they only got the answers when they really go into the Amazon, they meet nature. Yeah, because that's when you can probably more clearly connect with your essence, and listen to yourself better, with all these interference and distractions, and every 2 seconds and a beep, and don't get me wrong, the addictions of technology was not just for the kids. Yeah, like Carmen, was on the phone quite a lot, and he's aware of it, and he's like, how I'm telling my kids not to be, and then I'm getting hooked with this, and it's got a good part of technology, a good side, which is, yes, he can organize a retreat and communicate with people, and and make sure everything is professional and understood properly. But then she felt it was too much, for the times he was giving to. And as the film progresses and they get closer to nature, you can feel that in them. You can feel that, how that is changing. In fact, every time they go into water, every single time they, if it's in a river, or it was in the Pacific, or if it was in the Amazon, or like they felt, kind of, you could feel, how nature is just taking over, and how they would come, and the things they would say or share, they were very different than they were, with with a smartphone around. So I truly experienced, and I felt, and it's part of the whole nature versus technology. In this journey, the physical journey, as they were getting closer to nature, they were able to see better where the problems were coming from, or what they were feeling deeper. And at the end of the day, this is what we want, to find. I mean, we all carry our own answers. We just need to really go deeper, or depending on who we are and where we are in our journey, to find them. And then nature is the habitat that allows that to happen, more clearly, without the technology being around. So as they were traveling, the different smartphones were breaking in one way or the other. Yeah, so they blew, one failed, the other one, and finally, which was just such a clear message, and finally, The last one was at the Amazon. It was Valentine's, smartphone. The last one to kind of broke, and finally they were just alone there. And Carmen had, her own moment of realization, as well as Sergio. And I think that's what they were looking for a long time. The consequences of that is what it is, and you'll find out. But it was good for them to reach, because that's the truly what they were looking for when they were trying to get into the Amazon. Is find those answers, that I couldn't find around in town in Urubamba with the Facebook, the Netflix, and the rest, which is fine in its own measure, But when it takes over your day to day, and you don't stop, and doesn't let you cannot see other things that we have.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess everyone had their experiences just through the experience then. So I know there's with the way, the world just keeps getting, it's like it gets, I don't know, it gets bigger, it gets more condensed with all of our accessibility to things. And especially through TAM integration, I hear a lot of people who have been on the shamanic path, or they've been in the world of plant medicine or spiritualism, and now they're parents, right? And now they've got, much like Carmen and Sergio have their lives, their practice, their connection, and now they have these little humans they also have to take care of and introduce to it in a way that is going to show them the reality and the sacredness of it. So I'm curious how you perceived that, and again, if you give some to the parents who are on the shamanic path but newly parenting.
Sorry, I missed the last line, the connection, the last question. Sorry, the last 10 seconds I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, so the information or the grain of knowledge you would give to parents that are following their shamanic path or following their path with psychedelics, and now they also have tiny little humans to introduce to the world and care for.
Yeah, well, I guess is again this trying to find balance, and being, because there is nothing as good or bad, or it's just it's all there and it's all valid, and I think one of the reasons why this documentary is so appealing is because it's a very relatable family. So people, like people in the West, for example, they are all like just down in Peru, and they go into the Amazon, and they're shamans and this, and then they start watching and like, oh, but they have the same problems as us, So that's why it makes really kind of like, oh, it looks really exotic, but it's not. So it's far away, but it's also close, So and I think what they're after is a couple of the questions that kind of I throw out there, with this, or want to throw out there to make people want to challenge people on their views on life, and how they approach their day to day, with a family, as you said, with your father's not having in that shamanic path, and having a family that's going to affect them, and they're going to be finding these problems or no problems as such, but these situations where they're going to have to adapt to their beliefs and be a bit more loose, and technology can be used in a really, really good way, and it's finding that balance for everyone. But the questions, kind of I throw there, to challenge there is how to create and maintain a family in the digital world. What ready to give or to do, to keep this, and that's something that we all have to, or every single parent have to figure it out in a way. I'm just giving an insight of a family that are going through that, and it's tricky, and there is no an easy answer for any of those questions. But by thinking about them and by sharing, which is what I'm doing, what they are doing, not me, I'm just kind of capturing. Hopefully, it will be questions that they will kind of be thinking before getting into situations that they were. So it's kind of like, all right, we're proposing questions, so then you can actually start figuring out, how do you want to see, how do you want to make this, what's your life you want to make for those young kids that you have now there. So I'm not giving any answers to anyone. They are just sharing their life and experience, and I think it's a beautiful relationship they all have, ups and downs like every other one, and that's it. It's about conflict and resolution. It's about growing, and it's about experimenting and not being scared of trying and see if you find the best way to get that balance, because it's not easy to get it.
I love that. It's about conflict and resolution and love.
Yeah.
Amazing. So this has all been so, it's your experience, the family's experience, the film itself on so many levels is just, it's got a little bit of information for everyone from all walks of life. So you had mentioned before that there was a campaign, or can you tell us about a way to support the film, to support the family, to share the information?
Yes. Sure, yeah, sure. So basically, I tell you where we are right now. So we are submitting, the film, we have a final cut log, with it's graded, and we're doing the final mix this week, submitting the film for world premieres in 2022. We're getting really good feedback, so we're hoping to find where it's going to be, by looks going to be on the States. And right now we are super close to get, the finishing funds. We are just short with a small gap in the budget, and we thought the best way to do it is to do a Kickstarter campaign, so we can reach, our goal and make sure, like we can have the best film we can have, the best creative documentary we can have, the best music of Juana Molina with the best sound, the best editing. And yeah, we're super close, and we just launched today, 1st of November, we launched a Kickstarter campaign, La Sagrada Familia film, and we will be running for the next 28 days. So yeah, if anyone feels like they feel attracted by this story, this family, this documentary, please just donate. If not, you can just at least share it with other people, and hopefully we'll reach, and we'll do a nice promotion so everyone can find out about La Sagrada Familia and hopefully see it in the theaters in 2022. So that would be good. That would be amazing.
I'm going to share that link to the website. Somehow you guys have the La Sagrada Familia website. The church doesn't have it, huh? So I'll share the website. I'll share your Kickstarter. And that's amazing. It already sounds like the content of it is going to be mind-blowing. And then you've got this incredible musician and the editor. So no doubt it's going to be beautiful. And then I mean, who knows, maybe we'll talk to you after the film is out, because I'm curious to see how does being a movie star change the life of with that. Borja, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we close up?
First of all, just say thanks, for the opportunity to talk to us. It's been brilliant, it's been really good I'm very, I have to say, very new into my first time director and producer of. So it's great to be able to think about your film, real time with different questions and different approaches. So I really enjoy that, because it makes me think and realize of what we've achieved in the last 4 years, because you kind of lose, a lost sense of, what I'm doing sometimes, is it any good? Is it worth it? Is it just I've been working so much, and has been taking my physical and mental health, especially last year, going through all this film. So it's great to have the chance and to get the perspective, of what we've achieved, and that this is actually a film that's coming out that we know is it's a beautiful creative documentary that we're hoping is going to challenge, different people in different places, and in a key moment, that we're going through, with the overuse of technology and how we're killing our planet and nature, and different ways to interpret our reality and take control of our lives, and find that balance. So just hope people will enjoy next year, and that's all. Hopefully see you in the screen, in the pictures at some point. And thanks again for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much. So awesome. So I'm gonna share that Kickstarter. I hope you guys get what you need for your budget. I hope it all gets out there. And thank you so much for this. It was great to meet you, great to talk to you, and good luck with your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hope to talk to you soon when
All
we finish
right.
the.
All right. Thank you, everyone. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.